What's happening, everybody? It's your boy Hardcorn, and today we're going to be looking at our newest addition to Action Taimanin, Kamimura Azuma, the big sister to Micah with less ballistics but more brains. We'll be going over whether or not this shocking and spicy teacher is going to be worth your gems. Let's get started. Azuma is a suppressed type with a human racial, a very desirable combo that gets access to incredible strength. She gets her own weapon class and does not get to share with Francis. Azuma is a demon hater, pure and simple, coming from Carol the Bloodlord, the original Lilith VN. So many tools in her arsenal to incinerate them with hellfire or rain divine lightning on them. Now let's go see the tools of the trade. Azuma's weapons are about the size of a regular baseball bat. However, her weapons transform into either a greatsword or spear depending on the skill selected. It's kinda why she can't share and also has her own weapon class called cudgels. I'm going to be calling them bats or clubs. Her hatred of demons is so very apparent because she has a SR specifically dedicated to hit harder to demons. Not to mention, her best in slot package weapon has multiple demon requirements to get the fullest effect out of it. Now, don't get her started on crime statistics because you're never going to leave. Because Arbiter of the Original Sin is her gotcha signature, and it's just like Mirabelle's. This is a direct upgrade over your arena weapon and is a simple goal to strive for. This is due to the bonus damage against electrocuted enemies. You're almost always going to be having electrocuted enemies in some way, so this buff is always going to be active. Enough about the gear though. Let's see how good she can look doing the work. In terms of costumes, she has her default one, her Desire Shop one, Vampire Hunter, Highway Angel Azuma, her rival outfit being her sister's, Micah, her Secret Garden outfit, the Gym Trainer one, and the bathrobe. In terms of affinity effects, I'll go over what she has on each level, and over here it'll scroll to see what you get in terms of her gifts. So at level 5 she's plus 10 VR coins, level 10 plus 10% VR coins, level 15 plus 2 to BP, and at level 20 another 10% more VR coins, ending with 30% more VR coins and plus 2 BP. So now we're going to go move on to skills. We're going to start off with her leader skill passive, Kamimura-Type weaponry. If nearby enemies are inflicted with burn, attack is increased by 15%. If enemies are inflicted with electrocute, attack increases by 15%. Applies one time per debuff up to 30%. Because this passive allows her to have 2 strong buffs that only require enemies to be inflicted with burn or electrocute. This shoots her DPS up due to electrocute's built-in defense down, the dot from it, and burns damage scaling from whatever inflicted it. You can tell these buffs are up due to the individually colored ones on top of Azuma's head, orange for burn, blue for electro. This is lessons learned from Spinel with having to keep up a specific buff to hit even harder. Now let's begin with her Taimanin art and basic attack. Fire God Tengshi's Spear is where she modifies her basic 3-press bat string to have it transform into a 4-press spears to increase the overall damage. That's it. The whole gimmick with her is using her skills as much as possible, and she needs all the slots for it to count. You're not going to be using this a lot. With Fire God Panlong, during her basic string she can transform her bats into a spear or greatsword that does one of 2 functions depending on the set. Normally, it will smash into the ground, slice it, and leave a trail of fire to inflict burn. On blue, it changes from fire to lightning to inflict electrocute. Extremely strong and infinitely spammable to keep her buff up. With a lengthy animation, prepare to catch some heat. Finishers with this skill are going to be activated when the fire or lightning reach the end of their arc to the right. Fire God by Fang is where Azusa's bat transforms into a spear to sear her enemies by stabbing them with a line drive attack that has sizable AoE coverage. Built-in critical boost allows for her burns to do actually meaningful base damage. This also introduces a cinematic camera angle on usage, so you can get in line with her and lay down the hurt. The casting of this skill is also armored, so you can spam it mostly to your heart's content. With it being green and having a high critical rate modifier, you're going to guarantee some hard-hitting damage. Now on to Thunder God Tuofe. Azuma transforms the bat into a great sword that deals big AoE swipes into a heavy overhead slash finisher. This being her signature blue skill gives her access to some of the game's most devastating supporters. Not to mention this skill innately applying Electrocute on the first hit. You're getting AoE suction, clearing power, and devastating damage out of this. This skill can take a moment to complete and has a windup which you're also vulnerable in. The super armor built into the skill starts when she spins. You can't forget to mention that this also has a cinematic camera where it zooms out to see all the devastation at once. Now with Thunder God Longma, it's a very important skill. If you're not using her package weapon, this is her only method of healing. The skill itself is important with how it does set effects. It's not a set main, set 2 or 3, it's set 1, which means you can run this in a hybrid build and actually get the best of both worlds, or all 3 if you feel like it. Knocking up Taimanin enemies is very effective for controlling them or setting up. You're going to want to be close for this skill to hit though. It's not like a lot of dodge and slash attacks that have a lot of coverage. You want all those great benefits, you've got to get in the danger zone. Fire God Huoshu. Huoshu works by Azuma going into spear mode and like branches on a tree, spreads out far and wide to deal incredible damage. Azuma is a human suppressed character, and this attack is certainly made for her. Her red signature has a critical modifier, huge AoE, and several attacks that can apply high damage burns to an entire group in seconds. Just like Baifeng and Tuofe, there is a small but important windup where Azuma is vulnerable. The AoE coverage is so immense though that you can use it off to the side of a group and still cover them all in a forest of flames. Now here's some feedback regarding Purple Haze. This is probably the best implementation of Fortitude. On an extreme dodge, she gets a 20% boost to Fortitude for 6 seconds. Fortitude works by rolling a % chance whenever a player is struck to ignore damage. This is prime stuff for Azuma because she is being beaten senseless all the time. Anything to help her take less damage is valuable. It's a hard sell on a 3-slot build though, but it can also apply a speed boost in red. Due to it being a main slot modified skill, consideration on what you have there does matter a lot. Now we're on to Heavenly Demon Slayer Yinglong. This is the first of her Heavenly Demon Slayer finisher skills. Yinglong deals damage with a slam, but will only apply burn unless you're using the set effect. It is strong, but not strong like Huoshu. This means you're going to apply small, weak burns to a group when using the skill. One thing to note is that this attack makes Azuma airborne. She can be knocked out of the skill quite easily if she gets caught up in traffic. The speed boost in blue helps mitigate this somewhat, but being knocked out of the air is still something to consider. Next up is Thunder God Kuiniu. Simply put, Kuiniu is Azuma's leap slam attack. Coming in like a bolt from the blue, she slams her greatsword down into the target to apply Electrocute in a small AoE. This skill primarily is used for applying 1 of 3 buffs depending on color. Green's critical rate boost to make Baifeng crit more often and Longma heal much more. Blue to make sucking up crowds of enemies with Tuofe safer, and surviving Panlong's duration with less damage in traffic. And with red, you're going to speed up all your animations, especially Qilin, Huoshu, and Panlong. A great way to apply Electrocute and burn if you're using Yinglong as a finisher. Finally, we reach Heavenly Demon Slayer Qilin. This is the second of her Heavenly Demon Slayer finishers. By transforming her greatsword, she will apply Electrocute with a slot effect. A noticeable difference lies with this attack being completely grounded and having super armor the entire way. She will get this skill off, for better or worse. This is effectively how fire builds can get their Electrocute stipulation easily while also keeping damage. Blue being AoE boost compared to green and red's damage and buff show the direction that you want to take it. But now that we've heard about all these, let's see them in action. Alright, so now that we've seen what she's capable of, let's come to some conclusions. Azuma's incredible strength and debuffing ability is compounded on the fact that so many of her moves have super armor built in when they get going. Only enemies that are supersized and given higher priority on attacks will beat her out of something. There is no armor on her basic string, so it's at minimum on what you do with it. It's really there just so you can get Panlong out. It's just about every single skill on her has every use and every color has a strong niche it can live in. Nothing feels weak or powerless even on high-end content. However, building her is similar to Inage, where you're always going to be taking 1 or 2 required skills. On a 3-skill setup, you're not going to be getting a lot of flexibility. You're going to be taking a color signature, a finisher, and either Panlong, Kuiniu, or Longma, depending on where you're headed. Her character package weapon is a best in slot situation, sadly, but you can still fold tons of content with her using her Gacha signature, SR, and arena weapons. It's satisfying to know that it's not required compared to someone like Kara, who needs it very badly. I'm not gonna lie to you though, Azuma's costume selection is very weak and not very good looking. Her default costume being her RPGX one with the 3/4 pants is just something I do not like. I would rather have her original outfit from Bloodlord. Thanks to Azuma being able to apply burn all the time, Azuma and Micah actually have great fun together, dealing incredible damage. The question remains though, is she gonna be worth your gems? 100%. I could even recommend her as one of the first characters you could pick in the first place, as she requires very little to get going, will not get interrupted often, and has lots of utility. But with that, thank you for coming by and learning about good old Azuma. Don't forget to like, comment, rate, favorite, and subscribe, and as always, I'll see you next time. Goodbye, everybody.